This is Pop Culture Confidential, and I'm Christina Yerling Biru. Welcome, everyone. Awards season 2026 keeps steamrolling along. And just 1 week after the Oscar nominations yesterday, we got the BAFTA noms. And yes, they're already giving us plenty to talk about. The BAFTAs have a long history of influencing the Oscars, and this year brought some real surprises that could shake up the race in some interesting ways. To help me break it all down, I'm thrilled to welcome back a returning guest. They are the co-host of Shhh, My Stories Are On podcast and theater technician on tour, Eoin Daly. Thank you so much for joining me again.
Thank you so much for having me back. It's great to be here talking the modern award season, having previously talked about horror films which have entered their way into this. So it's kind of like a full circle moment, let's say.
Yeah, you and I talked about weapons and did a whole special on all the good horror movies we were looking forward to last season. You mentioned off camera before we started talking that it was sad that Amy Madigan wasn't in the BAFTAs, but she got an Oscar nom.
She did. She set that record for sure.
I just have to ask, since I mentioned in the intro, you are on tour at the moment. What play are you touring
Yeah,
around
so
with
I'm
in Oxford?
yeah. So I'm touring around with the Dear England play. It's the play about the English football team. Um, so it's a nice enough play to work on, and I guess in terms of, I mean, what we will discuss about, it's a very English British sort of play. So I guess I'm kind of ready for talking about that society and also living, I guess, in the UK as well is quite helpful.
Let's talk about the BAFTAs. What were some of the surprises for you this time around in the nominations?
Yeah, I think, I mean, based on obviously there are films that have come out in the UK that necessarily haven't made their way across the pond, but I was certainly very excited to see the nominations for I Swear, which I think is a very good British film about John Davidson, who's a real life person. So I was happy to see Robert Aramayo and Peter Mullen get nominated for that.
This is a film about a man with Tourette's syndrome that
Yeah.
became a huge hit, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's a very good film. And I like that the BAFTAs, I feel like they should take more opportunity to. I think it's why this year I like that they've happened after the Oscars, because I kind of like awards not being predictive of what the Oscars will be. And BAFTA used to be so much more, I mean, because BAFTA also used to happen after the Oscars as well. They used to be so much more British focused, whereas now they kind of feel, even if they've taken place after the Oscar nominations, feel like they're trying to be predictive of what's going to be the Oscars, which I don't necessarily like as much because I like these different groups to kind of go their own way. So it was nice to see films like I Swear, Carey Mulligan, or as I like to, or as BAFTA likes to refer to her, Carey with the C, um, get a nomination for The Ballad of Wallace Island, which is a very small, kind of little cute film that did make its way across the States. And it's just moments like that I really enjoy.
I thought that was a lovely little film that stayed with me.
Yeah. But what are some of your and also I always enjoy that because sometimes t films have different title names in the UK. Zootopia 2 we must refer to as Zootropolis 2.
Metropolis, yeah. Yeah, there was a much confusion on X yesterday for the Zootopia Zootropolis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's a significant membership overlap in BAFTA, the Academy, which, of course, that's why they can be sort of semi-predictive. But some things weren't. I mean, we knew several of the things going in already, like Wagner Moura and Elle Fanning. They missed the BAFTA long list, so we knew that wouldn't be happening here. The fact that Ryan Coogler got 13 BAFTA nominations, which is the highest any black director has had in BAFTA history. The same for Chloe Zhao with Hamnet, who made history with 11 nods. That's the highest of a film directed by a woman. So those are really interesting statistics that happened on the night. I guess the fact that Delroy Lindo missed, I was surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I again because these have happened after the Oscars now, I'm sort of like not as upset by him missing because he obviously has been Oscar nominated, thankfully. Yeah, it's in. I think I was reading yesterday. I think he's the first actor to miss all of the kind of main four precursors and get an Oscar nomination. I think obviously Marina Tafira and even winner Marcia Gay Harden in the past have done that and gotten in, whereas he's I think the first male actor to do so, which is kind of an enjoyable stat because
Love surprises.
exactly. And sometimes when you're predicting the Oscars, you sort of have to like realize these are the films that they like the most. So they will, oh, and Deborah Lindo was sort of everywhere. And obviously, that I feel like that snub of 5 years ago for The Five Bloods really stays with people. And then when he has an opportunity in a film as beloved as Sinners is and always has been, it's always exciting that happens. But yeah, it's sad he didn't show up. But I can't really knock the nominees they made that year. And also at the same time as him not showing up anywhere, we have Paul Mescal who has shown up in every precursor and not made the Oscars, which I'm kind of sad about, but also Paul Mescal will be back many times throughout his career. So
He
the fact
will.
that Delroy Lindo, exactly, and the fact, I mean, once he gets past the Beatles movies, the fact that Delroy Lindo can receive this sort of career achievement slash a great performance versus Paul Mescal, who's still like in the early stages, is not a bad thing in my book, even they're both great.
How are people discussing the Beatles movies in the
I
UK?
can't I can't s- I can't say I've really discussed the Beatles movies with people, but I know personally
Are people
myself is
excited
that
or are people like, ugh?
I feel like most people probably don't even know they're happening. And I mean, again, I tend to discuss films with people about films from like decades ago versus like films that are currently in release or being made. But I feel like there will be excitement once, I don't know, pictures leak or I feel like there definitely is excitement because you have these like really four like up and coming slash prominent British Irish actors playing
Yeah, I
these
was going to
parts,
say
and even then,
Irish.
of course, and even then the women they've cast as well
Mhm.
as the partners of all the Beatles. You have like Saoirse Ronan and Paul back together again. You have Anna Sawai, who obviously I love from Shogun and Pachinko, and yeah, I feel like people are going to be excited about them. I'm just. It's almost like this thing that I know is going to happen that I'm almost waiting for the filmmakers to get through so that especially the actors can kind of do other things, let's say, because four movies, I think all releasing at the same time in a year, I
Yes.
can't remember, is daunting.
It's going to be an interesting experiment to have all four at the same time. But maybe that's the best
Mhm.
way to go. Well, let's get into some of the categories. Why don't we start with the outstanding British film category? There we had 28 years later, The Ballad of Wallace Island, Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy, Die My Love, H is for Hawk, Hamnet, I Swear, Mr. Burton, Pillion, and Steve. Pillion and 28 years later were happy surprises for me to be on here. Anything that sticks
Yeah,
out to you?
yeah. I mean, I've seen all these films
Mm.
and have seen them all at the cinema, which is a nice thing. Of course, the Hamnets and the Dime I Loves, and I agree, Pillion and I Swear are really good. I had just seen H is for Hawk this past weekend and was thoroughly impressed by that and
Mm.
sort of it being a great showcase for Claire Foy. And then also Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy. I'm glad to see get this film recognition because we know obviously in the States it was released on is it Amazon Prime or
Yes, just streaming
Peacock or
directly.
streaming, and it made so much money in the UK, and it probably would have made just as much money in the States because people love Bridget Jones. I mean, she now has a statue in Leicester Square.
Do you have an idea where you think the will take the BAFTA here?
I feel like in a similar way to Sinners winning the People's Choice, the Box Office Achievement Award, that this will be Hamlet's prize at the BAFTAs. It is obviously the film that got the most nominations of these films, and personally would be my choice based on, I mean, I just love Hamlet so much, and having seen it now a second time in the past month, I was just like blown away yet again.
I love it too. Do you think it's the same for because there's the best film category where we have Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. Do you think it'll be Hamnet there too?
I don't think I think One Battle has the like obviously it got the most nominations with 14 after having set the standard for most long list um, nominations with 15 I think it was. Um Whereas I think it will comfortably win, and I think even with Sinners doing so well and Hamnet doing so well and Marty Supreme even doing so well because that got 11 nominations as well, is that One Battle just sort of has the buzz this year, and I can't deny it because it's. I mean, all five of these films are great, so you can't kind of go wrong any other way. But I think it is PTA's time, and One Battle is kind of there.
It's PTA time everywhere,
Yeah,
is our feeling. Yeah.
exactly.
In
Yeah.
terms of lead actress, we had at the BAFTAs Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Rose Byrne. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Kate Hudson, who showed up here as well, Song Sung Blue. Chase Infinity, who did not get the Oscar nomination but did get the BAFTA. Renate Reinsve for Sentimental, and Emma Stone for Begonia. It was nice to see Chase here.
Yeah. I mean, this list clarifies that this was the six of the year. Like these were the six actresses, and unfortunately, one of them had to miss. And while I would have made different choices than the Oscars, I'm glad at least Chase Infinity sort of has this momentum now. And sometimes a snub or a omission can boost your career even more. I mean, I know she has the Testaments coming in April, which is sure to be like a big television event for her. So I'm just excited and hopeful that she can continue to do great work because she is amazing. And while it didn't produce an Oscar nomination, at least she has another. I mean, she'll be at the Oscars regardless,
Oh yeah, and
based on the film. Yeah,
I see much things for her in the future with her talent. And
absolutely.
in terms of the actresses, there's three that have gotten sort of all of them now. Critics' Choice, Golden Globes, the SAGs are now called the actor, the BAFTA, and the Oscar. That's Jessie Buckley, Rose Byrne, and Emma Stone. But I can't see anyone except Jessie taking the BAFTA for her incredible performance in Hamnet. And
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think for the first time since 2019, we're going to have a steamroller Best Actress because we have had a couple of years now of like two contenders vying for that win, which has been really fun. Sometimes you need a Clella Panzer of like a steamroller, and I'm happy for Jesse to win. I just hope that similar to Cillian Murphy winning a couple of years ago, that she's not referred to as a British actress because she's not.
it tends to happen.
Exactly, and especially since with her winning, Ireland will join a few. I think it's five other countries that have won at least one acting award at the Oscars in all four acting categories. So, like, that is a stat that I'm looking forward to
We
happening.
want that, yeah.
Yeah.
Lead actor, you mentioned Robert Aramayo for I Swear, Timothy Chalamet, Marty Supreme, Leo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan, Sinners, and Jesse Plemons, Begonia. Any thoughts on this?
I'm just happy that Ethan Hawke um, got all the nominations. I think this makes up for First Reformed and him sort of getting the lion's share of critics' prizes, but not translating to the televised awards. And while I don't think he's going to win because he's here the only nomination, I'm just happy that he's received this nomination for a Linklater film and will continue to do great work. And I personally think I think he will win someday. I think Ethan Hawke is sort of like he's kind of comfortably moving on from that like useful 90s era into like this everyone just loves him. And I mean, I think also the documentary work he did a couple of years ago on the Paul Newman Joanne
Yes.
Woodward documentary, I think really has like emphasized his love of film. And I just hope, like most frequent collaborators who work with the same directors, is that the next Linklater film he does, like this one, it produces that win for him. Because I like when directors win, or actors win with the directors they've worked with a lot.
He's simultaneously now he's getting rave reviews for a movie that just came out in Sundance yesterday or the day before. Wait, so I mean, yeah, I think his time, he's just waiting in the wings to
Mhm.
for the
Yeah.
Oscar. The leading actor category, here we have four nominees that have been in all of these Critics' Choice and the SAGs and BAFTAs, and that's Timothy, Leonardo DiCaprio, Ethan Hawke, and Michael B. Jordan.
And you have obviously Timmy sort of, I guess, being the presumptive front runner. I'll be interested to see what SAG do, or the actors, because they tend to, even I know he won last year, but in general, other than when you're, I guess, Frances McDormand, they don't tend to award people multiple times in the leading categories, I've realized. So I'll be interested if he just steamrolls as well. But also I can't necessarily see who would be
Well, DiCaprio.
the second. I guess so. I think
I
I
mean, it
think
is the
I under
movie of the moment, and an
yeah. But I
incredible
think,
performance by him.
of course, I think the only thing that makes me not think DiCaprio is like in comparison to previous, obviously, Best Picture actors like Mikey Madison or Cillian Murphy or Michelle Yeoh is that while he's really good, he's not like the like leading
No,
performance
it's more
that
of an
like
ensemble feel.
exactly, and I think that's why I've been not thinking he would win this season. I mean, I would rather him have a win for this than the film that he did win for a
Yeah,
decade
The
ago, but
Revenant.
yeah, but we can't change history. But I do think Timmy sort of has this, and I mean, he's if I mean, I've liked how he's kind of lessened his abrasive attitude in the awards half of the film promotion versus the film promotion for the film's release. Um, but yeah, I think he has I would like a Michael B. Jordan to be considered more because I think people underestimate this performance as being a genre piece when like he's playing multiple characters going through multiple phases.
Absolutely.
Um,
You don't think Robert Aramayo, in terms of the BAFTAs, could be sort of a surprise win? People love that movie so much.
I mean, he's very good in it, but I think when you're going against films that are leading the nominations in Marty Supreme, One Battle, and Sinners, you kind of can't really. I mean, that would be such a surprise, but I would really like it.
So, in supporting actress, here we only have one who has taken all of these, and that's Tiana Taylor, who's nominated for Critics' Choice, Golden Globe, SAG, BAFTA, and Oscar. The other ones are a little bit spread out. Odessa Zeon for Marty Supreme, Inga Ibsdotter Lilias for Sentimental Value, Unmi Musako Sinners, Carey Mulligan, The Ballad of Wallace Island, Tiana and Emily Watson for Hamnet.
That's a very good list. I'm so happy that Emily Watson has received at least one nomination,
Yay!
major one this season. Like I could have predicted that was happening when I saw the film. But I'm just so happy that she got recognition because I love Emily Watson and we're about I mean this 2026 is the 30th anniversary of um the Breaking the Waves and her sort of breakthrough. So it's nice that she has this recognition after so long, after many years in the business. I also like that we only have one crossover between all of the precursors because it just gives highlights to other actresses. Like Carey Mulligan is quite fun in Ballast of Wallace Island, and Odessa Zion is obviously, I mean, I think she was very close to getting an Oscar nomination based on this and the actor nomination. But also, I can't, and I like if it was between her and Elle Fanning, I'm sort of glad that Elle Fanning finally got that nomination because she has been such a compelling actor basically her whole life. Um, and then Inga and Wunmi are like the ones that I was really happy to happen because I when I saw Sinners back in April, I was like, oh, I already loved Wunmi Masako in like Lovecraft Country and his house and everything that's seen her in, and knowing that she was a part of this film, I was so happy to see it happen into a nomination. And then Inga is just like this great discovery and sort of like the person I leave that film thinking of the most.
Tiana seems to have the lead here pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, and I think with, as we mentioned earlier on, Amy Madigan missing here, I think Tiana will probably now win the actor award and the BAFTA and sort of have like a Yu Zhong sort of trajectory where she loses one award but then picks up everything else. And I mean, I love Tiana Taylor. I just hope that people retroactively go and watch 1001, which is a
Oh,
really
such a
great
good movie.
film starring her from a couple of years ago. So I'm happy that like 2 years later she has gotten this recognition because she's so wonderful and a supporting performance in the supporting actress category.
Again, Elle Fanning wasn't on the long list, so that was a bit surprising when the long list came out, but not so much, of course, not at all now when these came out. And the same goes for supporting actor, where Delroy was not on. Oh, he was on the
He
long list.
was.
Yeah, yeah. This is that's sort of the difference with the Oscars. There we have Benicio del Toro for One Battle, Jacob Elordi in Frankenstein, Paul Mescal in Hamnet, Peter Mullen, I Swear, Sean Penn, One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård in Sentimental Value. The ones who overlap in terms of the precursors are Benicio, Jacob Elordi, and Sean Penn, who have all of the precursors at the moment. Not much of a surprise, I would say, and I Swear is gets a nomination here as well with Peter Mullen. So I mean, it's certainly represented.
Yeah, and I mean Peter Mullen is one of those sort of like great character actors who I've seen in so many things, and he's really good in this film in a sort of small role but important role. And to see him get this one nomination is always exciting, and especially against these other five who sort of who I mean who I predicted to be the Oscar five and has sort of shown up. I mean, obviously Paul missed the Oscars, but he, like Benicio, Jacob, and Sean, received all four of the precursors. So yeah, I think this is a really compelling list for sure.
And this feels like it'll go.
I think it will go Stellan. I think
Mhm.
obviously we'll see how the actors go because unfortunately he's not nominated there. But I think I sort of predict the actors to go with Elordi. And I sort of see it coming down to who has the stronger precursor duo of is Globe and BAFTA stronger than Critics' Choice and SAG? And we've had that happen so many times each way, which is stronger. But I sort of think Stellan is going to take it, and I think his Golden Globe speech was very endearing. And while I wish he wasn't competing in the supporting field. I understand that he's obviously nominated here, and it would be a great recognition of his career. And yeah, I think it's here because I think Frankenstein sort of underperformed in the long list and then also in the nominations in not getting into picture.
Director.
Del Toro not making the short list, or sorry, the long list. So I think Stellan kind of has it here, and it's a chance to give Sentimental Value a major win, which I think people at the end of the day sort of look for in terms of like these top films, at least getting them one award.
I think so too, but what about Paul here?
I mean, that would be wonderful. I mean, Paul does have a BAFTA for normal people. I mean, I think if he won here, he would complete the trio, the triptych of like British film, TV, stage prizes, because he also has his Olivier for his streetcar he did a couple of years ago. So that would be nice. And again, it would sort of feel like a moment where it's like, who's winning the Oscar? And I think people would not be like, I would almost love if someone else won actor and all four of the precursors awarded someone different. Like I thinking Best Actress from like 2020 when obviously every precursor went for a different actress and we just didn't know who would win in the end.
Why don't we do director and screenplay as well for the BAFTA? So the nominated BAFTA were Yorgos Lanthimos for Begonia, Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Ryan Coogler for Sinners. Where do you think this will go?
I think even if the film doesn't win Best Picture, PTA is winning the director prize. Like this has been sort of a foregone conclusion since the film premiered, and after after 3 decades in the business now and making so many great films, it's the roosters are coming home to nest. This is like his moment, and it's such a deserving film as well. I mean, I would love a Ryan Coogler as well. I hope that he will continue his upward trajectory, and I think he will win one day. But unfortunately, any other year he would be steamrolling this, but he has the sort of PTA sitting right there, right beside him.
Yeah. So PTA has, prior to the Oscar nominations this year, he had 11 nominations and no wins. I think he has 14 now. So certainly it's time. What is his BAFTA history? Do you know?
I'm not sure, but I want to say he might. Hold on, I'll look it up quickly. Okay, well, this is his second direct, oh no, third director nomination. having only been nominated for There Will Be Blood and Licorice Pizza before, but he won screenplay for Licorice Pizza, so he has a BAFTA,
So more than
but he's not.
Oscars.
Yeah, exactly. So he is liked by them, I guess. But yeah, he's sort of on that trajectory, and I can't be mad at it. I just also the opportunity for him to be there also means that Maya Rudolph can hopefully be there as well. And I love their sort of partnership, and obviously that partnership sort of produced this film in a way.
Yes. Yeah, in terms of theme and very much so. No, I'm predicting BAFTA for both picture and director for him.
Yeah, same.
We find him again in adapted screenplay, Ballad of Wallace Island, Begonia, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Pillion. I like seeing Pillion there.
Hmm.
I think that's such a great screenplay.
Same. Yeah, no, I'm glad that again the BAFTAs gave the opportunity to highlight Pillion because it's such a great little sexy film that I think people will discover as the years go by and sort of be like, why did no one talk about Pillion at the
Yeah,
time?
such a warm,
Um,
fun, yeah.
yeah, but I think this is again going to go to PTA. I do wish the Hamnet screenplay could be more in competition because obviously in the Nomadland year that was sort of the one category that Chloe didn't win. And I sort of want her to have that screenplay award to go alongside her directing work. And I think Hamnet is just as strong an adapted screenplay in sort of the changes it made to the Hamnet story and how it sort of like works through its story. But yeah, I think PTA is just unstoppable and it's great work, so I can't be mad.
What is the general consensus around Hamnet and the sort of Shakespeare? There's a lot of criticism towards Maggie O'Farrell's take on him, or
Yeah, well, I've actually this is probably a film that I've talked about with people the most, and I've had ranges of people have found faults with it. People haven't enjoyed the performance of Hamlet at the end of Hamnet, but then also people are so moved by the sort of process of grief. And I know, speaking for myself, I love how the film just shows us how art can be such a healing experience, and especially someone who works in the theater primarily, I know how healing it can be for me. So seeing it sort of on screen is something that I'll always treasure. And yeah, I think Hamnet, I think is loved by. I mean, it's making so much money here, which is I think I think it's earned like yeah, it's just breaking box office all the time in the UK, which is such an exciting thing. And I think this film has always been beloved, and I've not understood the sort of back the backlash against it online. I mean, I know where it comes from, unfortunately, but I think it's just a beloved film, and I'm just happy that it has stayed the course and will pick up one prize for its sake this season. Yeah, I think it's pretty wonderful, and I'm glad that Chloe has gotten the second opportunity to sort of prove anyone who doubted that No Madland was a fluke, that she is such a talented director and one that we are thankful to have for the long run.
original screenplay. Here we find I Swear, Marty Supreme, The Secret Agent, and Sentimental Value, and Sinners. Kind of the first time that Secret Agent is, besides film in non-English language. Not much of a showing for that, or it was just an accident. Basically, just Sentimental Value across the board at the BAFTAs. I was a bit surprised by that.
Yeah, I mean, I know it was just an accident, didn't do too well on the long list because I know Panahi didn't make the director. I think he made the screenplay, or maybe he didn't. Um, but yeah, I mean, there are so many great international films this year that you're sort of spoiled for choice here. Um, and yeah, I think this again is another really strong category. I do think that kind of similar to PTA in the adapted screenplay, I think this will sort of be Ryan Coogler's prize this year. I think it doing so well at the BAFTAs and the Oscars and him winning, I think the lion's share of original screenplay critics prizes, obviously not of like the major sort of LA, New York, National Society critics groups, but him winning so many prizes and him sort of being that person, it sort of makes sense for me to him to win at least have an Oscar to his name here. And I think obviously we'll talk about WGA in a bit, is that he is the story here in screenplay and it will be the prize for him, even though all five of the nominees are really strong and compelling.
I think so too. I think so, and well deserved. Yeah, we're gonna get to the WGAs quickly. Is there anything else you want that surprised you? I just want to mention I was very happy to see Cover Up nominated in the documentary, which is Laura Poitras' incredible documentary about Seymour Hersh, the legendary journalist. Like, I couldn't believe that that wasn't Oscar nominated, but I often miss on the Oscar nominated documentary. I'm not really good at how that particular group thinks, I have to say. But I was particularly happy to see it here because it's very well deserved. Do you have any other sort of the cinematography or editing or anything like that that you would like to highlight or mention?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy to see. Yeah, I agree. I think Cover Up is a pretty compelling documentary and is one of my favorites of the year. I also too, there's so many strong documentaries every year that it's sort of like hard to predict because you don't know what way they're going to go. But Cover Up is such a great portrait of this one person and is so compelling that I do wish it did get that nomination, but unfortunately it didn't. I'm glad to see the voice of Hin Rajab get into the international category like it did at the I think this is the Oscars 5
Yes, yes.
here at BAFTA. And I think other than Sarat, which is a film I don't care for much, the other four are really powerful and sort of not European based, which I find sometimes in the international category, we don't go far outside of Europe, which I mean, there's so many great European films, but you have you have Palestine here, you have it was just an accident with Iran, you have Brazil, you have Sweden, and then you have Spain. So you're
Norway,
kind of
yeah.
like sorry, Norway.
Sorry.
Sorry. So you have so many different nations kind of represented in this international category, which is what the category is there for.
Yeah, let's talk about because yesterday also was the WGA, the Writers Guild, announced their nominations, and you and I were both very happy to see an original screenplay, Weapons, which I was
Yeah.
hoping to see at the Oscars but yeah, so that was Black Bag, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Marty Supreme, Sinners, and Weapons. What was missing there from the Oscars was, of course, Blue Moon, and then the two, Sentimental Value, and It Was Just an Accident, were not eligible for the Writers Guild, so they are missing here. Nice to see Black Bag too. Really deserved,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Black Bag is one of my favorite films of the year. And I'm so glad that it got this like major nomination because people need to check it out. I think Soderbergh did such good work this year with his two films, Black Bag and Presence, that yeah, Black Bag is just I watched it like three times at the cinema because I couldn't take myself away from it. So I'm happy even with obviously the ineligibilities, it's sort of if even if the nominations happened before, it never would have got Oscar nominated. But I'm glad that the WGA highlighted. Similar with If I'd Legs, I Kick You. I'm glad to see that it wasn't just Rose who sort of got a major nomination for this film because I think it's a film just as great as her performance is. So I'm glad that Mary got a major shout out here as well.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
ob- and obviously Weapons as well. I think its kind of script structure and chapter structure works really well as a screenplay. So yeah, it's a good category for sure.
The one I miss kind of everywhere that I'd love to have seen get more was Sorry Baby, a film I really liked, which I miss in general in all the
Hmm.
precursors. But what are you gonna
Yeah,
do?
I know. We're just gonna have to push, and when Eva Victor eventually makes their next film, like Julia Roberts, we're gonna have to be in the corner shouting them out as this great filmmaker.
The adapted screenplay nominees at the WGA were basically the same as the Oscars: Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Train Dreams. Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why Frankenstein. I mean, I understand why Frankenstein is a screenplay nominee. I don't necessarily think it's the greatest script, but it's a beloved film clearly. So that's I guess why it made the list. But again, I think Train Dreams is a pretty strong screenplay, and I'm glad that it's received these nominations as we're currently as we're currently speaking, obviously the Sundance Film Festival is going on, where Train has obviously got its premiere. So I'm looking forward to what the current slate of Sundance films. What is our next Train Dreams? What is our next If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You?
Yeah,
Because those
yeah,
films
that's
both
always
premiered at the
exciting.
Sundance Film Festival.
And there's a lot
Hmm.
of buzz on several films out there. We'll have time to talk about those going forward. So February 22nd is the BAFTA Awards. What are you looking forward to? What can you tell us?
I mean, Alan Cumming is the host. We love Alan Cumming from The Traitors, Cabaret, everything he's ever done. And
Love
he's sort
him.
of, if we're not gonna have, yeah, if we're not gonna have Stephen Fry, I'm glad that we're getting another fabulous UK talent in Alan Cumming. And yeah, I'm expecting to see a lot of One Battle. I'm expecting to see. I'd be curious to see what below the line prizes Sinners gets. I'm sort of hoping and believing that the kind of category that I want Sinners to win the most this season is for cinematography. I'm sort of ready for that stat to be broken. I think it's the only category where a female artisan has not triumphed. So I'm ready for that 98-year streak to finally end.
And that's of course with Sinners. Oh, and thank you so much for joining me. This was fun. Can you tell everyone where they can find you and follow you?
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for having me on. It was great to talk about the Modern Film Awards race. And you can find me, as you mentioned earlier, a co-host of my favorite series is on, where we talk about the Traitors and Drag Race airing at the moment. I'm also a member of the One of Us network, reviewing the latest in streaming film and television. I'm also on all social medias doing a series of actress dedicated months. In February, which we are about to go upon, I will be exploring the filmography of John Woodward, which is thankfully an
Oh,
actress
nice.
from my heart. One still with us, obviously not working anymore, but an actress we must always appreciate. And yeah, you can just find me talking film and television anywhere because I just love it all and watch it all.
Thank you so much. It's always great to have you on. And you can, of course, follow Pop Culture Confidential wherever you get your podcasts. And I'm on Instagram and X as Christina Biro. Thank you so much.